Hi guys, welcome back. This tutorial I have divided into 7 steps for your better understanding. Let's get started.
Step 1. Create a logo composition. Create a new composition for the logo placeholder. You can visualize title safe action area with the hotkey comma, and you can check this option here also, and import your logo on the center of the com. Step 2. Create a round shape and animate. Create a new comb for making round shape. Keep resolution size 550 into 550. Press Ctrl Y for making a solid layer and create a circle mask. And select the mask. Press Ctrl D for duplicate the mask and switch to the subtract option of the mask. For making a thin ring, give a value in mask expansion to make a ring. I will keep here -30 and subtract mask -35 and keep the layer opacity up to 35%. Make a duplicate copy of this layer. Press Ctrl D and reduce the size of about 10%. Select the layer and go to the effects menu, transition, and select radial wipe. Keep the value in transition completion 40% and change the start angle in the wipe tab. You can change the operation clockwise, counterclockwise, and both. I leave it default with clockwise and change the feather value up to 100%. Now create a wider ring. Duplicate layer, press Ctrl D and change the mass expansion 0 and subtract mass, keep the value 40%. Select both of the top layer and press R for rotation. Turn on this watch icon for keyframe animation, and I keep this animation up to 5 seconds and keep the value in first frame -80 degree and the last frame is 180 degree. And the last frame is with frequency 3. Play the animation. So we have done second step of this tutorial. Step 3. Shape movement and color grading. Create a new composition 1920 by 1080. Drag the shape comp into the timeline. Select the layer and go to the effects menu, color correction, select Colorama. Colorama is basically used to perform advanced color manipulation. Change the input phase from alpha. Expand output cycle. Use phase preset palette option ramp gray. Also expand the modify. Uncheck modify alpha option. and applied the hue and saturation color effect over it. Check the colorize option and adjust the color. Look like sea green. You can make your own color as per your project. Increase the saturation up to 100%. Make a duplicate layer, press Ctrl D and scale up to 125%. Give a color level to the layer for easy to identify. Now select the entire layer, press Ctrl D and keep the layer on the top. Select the layer which have 100% scale. Press Ctrl D for twice and select both the layer and keep on the top of the other layers. Select all the layer and convert into the 3D layer. Select the first layer, turn on the solo icon and active watch icon in Y rotation. Start with the frequency 0 and end with the frequency 1. Play the animation. Turn on solo icon of the second layer, expand transform tab and keep the current time indicator on 5 seconds. And active the watch icon on the anchor point. Scale X and Z rotation. On the first frame, change the anchor point value around 34600 and scale up to 295%. X rotation start from -35 degree and end with the frequency -1. And Z rotation start from frequency 1 and 30 degree. And the end with frequency -1. Play the animation. Select the third layer, active solo icon to expand the transform tab. Active watch icon for anchor point X and Z rotation. Start the anchor point with the value 346% and X rotation start with 35 degrees. And with -1 in Z rotation start with 145 degrees and end with frequency -1. Play the animation. Select the fourth layer, active solo icon to expand the transform tab, active watch icon for anchor point X and Y rotation. This frame anchor point from 346. Start the anchor point with value 346% and X rotation start with 125 degrees and end with frequency 1 and 180 degree. In Y rotation start with 0 degrees and end with frequency 1. Check the animation. Select the fifth layer, active solo icon to expand the transform tab. Active watch icon for anchor point, scale, X and Z rotation. Start the anchor point with value 346% and scale start with 320 and end with default 125%. X rotation start with 35 degree and end with frequency -1 degree. In Z rotation, start with 145 degree and end with the frequency 1. Check the animation. Select the sixth layer, active solo icon to expand the transform tab. Active watch icon for anchor point, scale, X and Y rotation. Start the anchor point with value 346% and scale start with 295% and end with default 100%. X rotation start with 125 degree and end with the frequency 1 and 180 degree. In Y rotation start with 0 degree and end with frequency 1. Select all the layer and press T for opacity and change opacity and color grading. Here you can set the value according to desired color lookup you want, and you can follow the same setting also. Always keep one thing in your mind: change the color and opacity after you done final animation. I am doing color correction in the first frame, and you can choose mid frame of the entire animation where you can see all the elements, and it could be first frame or last frame and any number of frame. Make sure all the element visual perfectly. Now select all the layer and press U for display all the keyframe. Select all keyframe and right click, go to keyframe assistant, select easy ease and check the animation. This is the end of step 4. Step 6, a final composition and finalize the animation. Drag the BG layer into the timeline and rename it. Press Ctrl Y for making a solid layer and give the name of vignette. Double click on the circle mask over the vignette solid layer. Keep the mask operation subtract and give the feather value up to 400. Drag the shape movement comb into the timeline. and make active this little cog icons. It will collapse all the information for a vector layer. Rasterize. Go to Effects menu, Time and select Echo. Go to frame around 5 seconds. Make an active number of echo icon and keep the value around 20. And go to next 10 frames and make another key and keep the value 1. Now go to the 4 second and turn on the intensity watch icon and reduce the intensity 30%. And go to 5 second and reduce the around 80%. Now active the scale watch icon and increase scale around 130 degree. And go to the next 15 frames scale value up to 1000
So that circle is going out of the screen.
Let's active opacity watch icon. Go to the previous ten frames and change the value 100% and give the value 0. Select the layer and go to the effects menu, stylize and select glow. Make the threshold 50% and glow intensity up to 200%. Here I want more glow, so that I press Ctrl D for making a duplicate copy of the effects and keep the threshold value up to 80% and glow radius 150%. As you can see, our shape element glowing more. Now drag the logo layer into the timeline and go to around 5 seconds, 7 frames. And active the opacity watch icon and keep the value 0. Now go to the next 3 frames, make the opacity 100%. Go to around 6 seconds, 20 frames and create a key on a scale 100% and keep this animation next 5 seconds, around 12 seconds, 20 frames and scale up to 130%. Now apply the easy ease option all the keys. Step 7. create a camera and fine tuning. Let's create a camera and null object. Convert the null object into 3D and connect your camera with the null object. Expand all the keys. Select the null object. Press P for position. Active the watch icon and go to the 5 second to make another key. In the first frame, we will keep the Z value around 2000. Let's active the motion blur in shape motion and connect all the layer to the first layer. And change the echo time around minus 0.02. Change the decay rate up to 83%. And do some fine tuning with BG layer. You can follow the settings. Now check your animation, and this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you will get some knowledge to take your motion graph skill up to the next level. Thanks for watching.